Good evening, families. This is Mrs. Schuler, and last night, first grade, amongst the rest of the school, had their parent academy. In first grade, we discussed math concepts and strategies, as well as our new phonemic awareness and phonics program called UFLI. If you were not able to attend, I'm going to go ahead and take this time to discuss UFLI with you, some of the components that are involved in UFLI, as well as some materials that you can use at home to make sure that your learner is successful with using UFLI. So before we get started, I do want to go ahead and note that in homework folders, when you receive them on Monday, you get a slip, a little white paper that has words on it and skills on it. That is your at-home practice for UFLI. And what we're expecting that you do from home is help your learner with building those words and understanding the pattern in those words so they can become a better reader and a better writer. If you'd like to use UFLI at home, and again, it is highly recommended that you do so, okay, you can go ahead and get online, jump into your browser or your search bar, and you would type in UFLI, UFLI, and then toolbox. Once you type that in and you click enter, you're going to see this first link up here, UFLI Literacy Institute. If you click that where it says UFLI Foundations Toolbox, University of Florida, it's going to bring you to a page that looks like this. This is what your child's teacher uses to access all of our UFLI materials that we use in class. So if I scroll down to this big red box, the two resources we're going to be using tonight and discussing are the lesson resources and the UFLI apps. I'm currently already logged into the lesson resources, and by logging in, I mean it's already up on my screen. I did not need a username or a password for this. And if I scroll down, I can go ahead and read all of this material at my leisure, but I'm going to scroll down, and these actually right here, all of these colored tabs, these are the lessons that we go through in class, okay? So being that we're in first grade, we start with lesson 35, lessons A through J, 1 through 34, those are kindergarten material, which you can very, very happily go ahead and review if your child needs it. But in first grade, we start with this green tab, alphabet review and longer words. So we are still touching on the alphabet, the letters that we see and the sounds that those letters make. But again, they've already had that foundation in kindergarten. So now we're jumping into more of building words and understanding the relationship between letters and the sounds that they make. So if I go ahead and click on this green tab, we do start at lesson 35. That green tab is now going to bring me into the unit resources where I can now see what the concept is. So for example, this one, lesson 35A, is short A review. So short A says A. And then here's our slide deck. So you've got a PowerPoint of what we're looking at and Google Slides if you prefer going through Google Slides. You've got a decodable passage where you can go ahead and help your child become a reader by using this decodable story. You've got the at-home practice, which you're already familiar with. This is where we get the at-home practice paper that we send home each week. And you have a roll and read activity. For my class, Mrs. Schuler's class specifically, we do the roll and read in class. So yes, you can use it with your learner if they need it or if you want extra material, but just keep in mind, this is what I'm using in class with them. So it would be great to give them the opportunity to use this in class, not so much at home unless you see that it's needed. So if I go ahead and scroll down, and I can click on any of these lessons, I already have one pulled up for us, okay? It's gonna open up a tab that looks like this. Now, I just clicked on the PowerPoint, okay, but this is what your learner is going to be seeing in class when we jump into UFLI each day. So it gives us the lesson and it gives us the skill, short vowels review. Now, in our class, when we talk about the word short vowels, we're then going to take that opportunity to review the vowels we know and what does it mean for a vowel to have a short sound. And then I'm just simply going to go through the slides. So this is just a slide for the educator. This is a symbol key so that our students and the educator know exactly what I need to be looking for and going through. And then it gives us day 1. So each lesson is typically built into 2 days. So 1 lesson per 2 days. Okay, sometimes it is going to take us longer. Please keep in mind that we are not always going to get through 2 lessons each week. And then it's going to give you a schedule. So this schedule is very important, and it's something that I know all of us first grade teachers have been drilling into our students so that they don't just practice a skill, but they understand what exactly they're practicing. So we start with phonemic awareness. Then we go into a visual drill. Visual means seeing. Then we go into an auditory drill where they're able to hear sounds. Then our favorite is our blending drill where we use a blending board. And then on day 1, we also introduce a new concept. If I go through this, okay, and this is exactly what your learner is going to see in class, the first slide or the first component or piece that we jump into is phonemic awareness. So what is that? Well, in class, this would be your child's opportunity to hear sounds, okay, segments or piece by piece, sound by sound in a word, and then they're able to take those isolated sounds and blend them into a word. So we're working with what we call graphemes and phonemes, taking those individual sounds and blending them together to build a word. Then we get to reverse those roles. So your educator or your teacher might start with something like this. Listen to my word, listen to my sounds, and you build the word. I'm going to segment, you're going to blend. So segment meaning I'm going to break those sounds apart, and your learner is expected to blend it into a word. So it might sound something like this. B, a, g. So I'm segmenting those sounds one more time. B, a, g. And your learner is going to blend those sounds and say bag. Then we do it a couple more times. For example, s, a, p. Again, s, a, p. They say sap. So that S and that A and that P sound now is building a CVC or a 3-letter word. Then we're going to swap up. I'm going to blend. You get to segment. So I give them a word that's already been pushed together sound by sound, and they give me the isolated sounds. For example, tip. They would go tip. T, p, tip. I would give them sun. They would go sun. S, n, sun. While we're doing this activity or that phonemic awareness, I now, as the educator, as the teacher, am monitoring who has that capability, who can segment and blend, who can have a blended word and then segment into different sounds. Once we do our phonemic awareness activity, we're then going to see it's been checked off. We got that done for day 1, and we move into the next activity, which is our visual drill. You're going to see this on our next slide. This is our opportunity just to remember what a visual drill is. Visual drill means you see the letter, you say the letter name and the sound. So typically in our class, because we are still getting familiar with UFLI, I would say, remember, that letter is A, so you're going to say A, A. It's that quick. Then we're going to go through our visual drill, so it would look something like this and sound something like this. U, O, ah, I, A, M, S, T, P, F, N, D, C, G, G. G has 2 sounds, so at some point in the year, we will expect both sounds for that letter. B, B, K, K, H, H, R, and we go quick, 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 quick. So again, this visual drill is we're looking at the letter, but then we're also producing the sound quickly. This is very repetitious because the more that they see these letters and associate that letter with its sound, we are going to become better readers and better writers. So we would continue to go through this step with each letter. Q-U, qua, V, and then Z, and we keep going, and then boom, visual drill is done. After visual drill, we go to auditory drill. This is the step in our daily schedule for day 1 where students get the opportunity to write what they hear. So in our class, we typically go back to our seats. They have all of the pieces that they need or all the materials they need, including a whiteboard, an eraser, and a dry erase marker. And then we go over what is auditory drill. Auditory means we're going to hear it, we're going to say it. So we're going to hear it first, write it, and then we say it together. So again, all of those components that your reader or your learner needs to be a fluent reader as well as a fluent writer. For auditory drill, this is a blank slide. And it's blank because we do this as a class, and it would sound something like this. Write me the letter that says ah. Then we walk around the room. We might say that sound once or twice, ah. While I'm giving the sound, your learner is now writing that letter. If we walk around as an educator and we notice that there's some misconceptions, they're not writing the letters properly, maybe we're writing in uppercase instead of lowercase, this blank slide gives us the opportunity to have that teaching moment. Oh, let's go over how to write a B and not a D. They watch it, we model how to do it on this blank slide, and then they do it with us. At the end of giving the sound, once they've all written that letter, we then take it a step further and we say the sound and the associated letters. So if my sound is ah, I'd say, okay, let's do it together. A or ah is A. So that sound is ah. What's my letter? My letter is A. So again, making those connections between our letters and our sounds. But now, not just saying it, I'm also producing writing with it. So I'm now tactile, right? I'm actually moving my body by writing these letters out so it's concrete into my mind. I'm not going to forget it. That's auditory drill. The next piece is our blending drill. And our blending drill is something that our students absolutely love. What's great about our blending drill is exactly what you see here. It looks like a little board. So for blending drill, your teacher or your child's teacher will already have up a board that looks like this in the background. The way you get to that board is on this website. So I'm going to click right up here where it says UFLI. I'm going to click go to the toolbox. And just like I was in lesson resources a minute ago, now I can click on the UFLI apps. If I click on UFLI apps, it's then going to bring me to the virtual blending board. And then you have a link. So you've got the virtual blending board, which would pop up like you saw mine. You also have a tutorial. So if you want to watch a video on how to use it, you can go ahead and do that. But to access the blending board, you're going to click this link on top, virtual blending board. And then this fabulous little doohickey is going to pop up. Now, I already have letters on mine, but what's great about our blending board is as our concepts get deeper and deeper or more complex, you can go ahead and click on the 3 lines over here in the right top corner, and it gives you everything. It gives you beginning blends, it gives you vowel teams, it gives you ending blends, it gives you everything. It is amazing. Okay, so I typically start by clicking none, nothing, the N-O-N-E. If I click it, nothing will be highlighted. 0 selected means I don't have any letters at all. So if I click on my little check mark, now I have nothing. It's blank. But if I go to my 3 lines again, now I can click on some letters. The blue letters are your beginning sounds, or what we call initial sounds. Your yellow letters are going to be those middle sounds or medial sounds. And your green letters, my kids like to say they're teal, but I think they're green, are your final sounds, okay, or your ending sounds. And over here in the pink are going to be those extra letters that we sometimes see at the end of a word. The double ES, the S, and that silent E. So I could go ahead and click, I'm going to click all of these because I just want all of them. I'm going to unclick E and I'm going to unclick my blank last sound or final sound. And then once I have the ones that I want, I don't always have to click all of them. Okay, then I'm going to click my check mark and boom, now I've got letters to work with. This is that piece at home, especially once you get that white slip, that at-home practice paper, that is so important for you to allow your child to manipulate, okay? You want them touching these sounds. You want them touching that beginning sound, that middle sound, and that ending sound, so they not only can see how these letters make a word, but now they can change out these sounds and they can manipulate and they can do word ladders. If I can write bag, I can write tag. If I can write tag, I can write tip. If I can write tip, I can write top. So they're actually associating those letters with those sounds again, but now they're bringing it even more in depth. Again, this is building a reader and a writer. So we might go into our blending drill and we might say, okay, raise your hand if you can segment me the word big. They'd raise their hand. They'd get the opportunity to say big, big, big. And then we're going to give them the opportunity, whether they come up at the board or they give us letter by letter by letter, what sounds or what letters do we hear in the word big? We hear B and then I and then G. Okay, let's see if that learner is right. I would click the letters that they give me. B, I, G. And then I would be going up to the board and we would segment and blend together. Big, big. Did they get it? Yes, they got it. And then we celebrate that success. Let's say they make a mistake and they give me beg. Okay, no problem. But that again gives me the opportunity to say, oh, maybe we need some more practice with our vowel sounds. How can we fix this? So again, it's that moment of A, I can see what they need. And then B, how do we fix this? How do we make this a teaching moment so that we're building fluent readers and writers and students who are excited about reading and writing? We don't want them to feel that they can't do it, so we want to take that opportunity to teach something that they have not mastered or something they don't know. So that is our blending board, and we would do that with a variety of words. Sometimes we play a game with it, so they get very excited because this is their chance to actually touch the board and manipulate those sounds into different words. Let me go back into our PowerPoint. And then after our blending drill, this is what they see. We go into our blending board, and then boom, it's done. After that, the very last step in day one would be teaching the new concept that they don't already know. So they'd see a new concept, we're learning something new. And then they're going to see a variety of things here. So right here, the PowerPoint that I've pulled up is working with all 5 of our short vowel sounds. What your teacher loves about this slide right here is it gives them the sound, it gives them a picture to associate, but then it's also showing them how their mouth is supposed to be formed to make that sound appropriately. So if we look at short vowel A, I can see my mouth is open and it says ah, like in apple. Many of our friends in the beginning thought this was just leg, but the letter I doesn't say l, it says I. So we made our mouth formation and we noticed, wait a second, he's itching a mosquito bite. So it's I for I. O, my mouth is open and we see an octopus, so O says ah. U, our mouth is now going to come together much more than some other vowels. So they love being able to see how they're going to form that mouth or form their mouth to make the appropriate sound. U is like an arrow pointing up, so U says and then E is edge. They're looking at the edge of a table, so I pull my mouth back and E says eh. We review that and then we would keep going. So again, they're seeing these patterns over and over and over. A, apple, ah. And then we also bring it a step further, and they are going to now understand that the short vowel A can be found in the middle of a word, like in cat and map. It can also be found in the beginning of a word or the front of a word, like at and as. Then we go into something called irregular sounds. Irregular sounds are exactly what they sound like. Irregular means not common, they don't follow the rules, and we like to pride our students in following rules, so we like to tell them, these are not rule followers, but we have to know them like a snap, so let's, make that connection. AM together says am. We do not get our mouth ready, or we do not produce the sounds am. Right? It is a sound am because am is irregular. When they go together, it says am. And then an does the same thing. It says an. Then they're going to see a variety of words that have that am together as buddies that are irregular sounds. So we've got am and jam, an for an, and can. And then we keep going with each vowel. So they're seeing that association of the picture, the letter, and the sound. And then they're identifying where those letters can be found in a word, like sit and big, and so forth. So I'll go through this quickly. Here's O, octopus, ah. Short vowel O is in the middle, and the beginning of a word. And it's giving them examples. So they're practicing this while we're on the carpet, learning all of this together. And they're seeing these examples, which is very, very important. Here's E. And then we go through it again. And now that short vowel A, I, O, U, and E is now a part of our classroom. We've taught it, they've learned it, they've connected all of the pieces, they've practiced with it, so now they're masters with it. And then in our rooms, we have vowel valleys and we have our consonant boards, and these pictures would be up. Then we have a moment to write together. That would be giving them a word, stretching those sounds, segmenting and blending, and then actually teaching or showing, right, modeling how we would write that word up on the board. Then they're going to watch the teacher write or read, and we keep going. So it's a lot of modeling, it's a lot of coaching, and then giving them the opportunity to do it together. We're going to keep going through all of this. Watch me spell it. Let's spell together. So again, I do it first. Watch how I do it. Now let's practice this. It's your turn. And that's day 1. So this is what we use to actually conduct UFLI in our classrooms. Now again, each lesson does have 2 days. So we did it. Awesome. We're done with day 1. And then we would jump into day 2 the next day. Day 2, the only difference is that right side of the screen where we talk about irregular words and connected text. So if I quickly, again, we're going through everything we already did the day before. You're seeing it again and again and again. The more we see it, the more we make our connections. The more we make our connections, the more we're going to be masters with this. So I'm going to keep going through it. I mean, this is the exact same thing. Oh, we're going to do some word work. Again, blending board type of style. And then we get to irregular words. This is what's different in day 2 that we did not have in day 1. And these irregular words, again, irregular means not common, okay? Not something that we can make that connection to. So, for example, this is the word said. In the beginning, when we're teaching a new word, we give our students the word. Okay, my friends, we are going to learn a new word today, and our word is said. What is our word? Said. Then, once they know the word and we've said it together, okay, then we're going to break this word into pieces. When we get our mouth ready for said, or we go sound by sound, I hear 3 sounds. S-E-D, said. But what do we notice about the word said? Oh, there's 4 letters, but there's only 3 sounds. The S has a box underneath it because the S in the word said makes sense. I hear it at the beginning of that word. So that box is their visual cue. Oh, that makes sense. I can go ahead and just instantly know that. S-E-D. The ending sound D also has a box because I hear that sound at the end of the word. So what's happening here with this irregular word said is you're noticing that AI does not make any sense. No matter how many times I get my mouth ready and I go sound by sound, I'm not going to hear ah and I in the word said. We would call the A and the I in this irregular word the heart part of the word. This is why it has a heart underneath it. Once we teach that word, we're then going to give your child the opportunity to write that word, build that word, make the connection to that word, because this is a word we have to know like a snap. This is why we're doing this, to build fluent readers and build fluent writers. So we need practice with this heart word. The word said is an irregular word. We call it a heart word. Then we would go into a review. Sometimes we're going to teach one word, sometimes it might be 2 words, but after we teach new heart words, we then go into words we've already taught, so they're seeing them over and over and over again. We've already taught it. That's a double heart word, because if I got my mouth ready for I would hear t, h, e, t, he. That's not how I say the word the. TH makes the th sound, so we have to put that in our heart, and then well, E, I know short E says eh. So, this E is not making the sound I think it should make. I need to put it in my heart. And we would have already given them practice with this word. We have the word I, the word a, and then again, we're using the word said again and again and again. Here's to, here's do, here's of. So just words that we are repeatedly teaching and seeing and practicing with, so they have more fluency. Go through all of these. Here's another opportunity to practice. Let's spell together. We would spell some of our review words as well as our new word, which was the word said. And then we're done with irregular words. And the very last step, is our connected text. This is the last component in teaching this skill. And what it is connecting all of the dots. So, hey, we've now isolated sounds. We've now built words with this new skill that we taught you. We found irregular words. You helped me connect words together, flip-flop the sounds or the short vowel sounds to make new words. Well, now if we do that, we can read. So, have would have already been a word that we taught, and would have been a word that we taught. I and A are words that we've taught. If I've taught it, you should be able to read it. So now we're modeling, I have a pig. I have a pig and a hen. I have a pig and a hen. I read a sentence. So we would read that together. If there were misconceptions where they didn't do as great as we thought, that's a teaching moment, and we do it again with another sentence. After we do this a couple of times, we're going to spell some of the words together, and then we get ready to read. So now they're making the connection. If I can build words and I know that letters make different sounds, well, now reading doesn't have to be so scary because I have everything that I need to be a reader and everything I need to be a writer. This, my friends, is UFLI. It is amazing. It has shown great success in the classroom thus far. I hope that this presentation was helpful. I'm really excited about teaching it in the classroom. Our students amongst the entire grade level are really loving it. And so if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to reach out to your child's teacher. But this is UFLI. And lastly, just one last reminder, you have access to UFLI from home. Again, I hope this was helpful. Have a great night and enjoy UFLI. Happy learning!